You are in the right place at the right time. Let me tell you something. We've got this star-studded cast tonight. Man, I'm telling you, we've got the star-studded cast. I hope you're ready for a good show tonight, because we've got the awesome diva with depression, Dee Dee, Dee Dee, Dee Dee. Bob, roll that tape back. Where's my last names at? Good
Here's
grief. We've got Dee Dee Harrison, we've got Blaze Hunter, and we've got Lori Baird in the house with us tonight.
Woo!
Woo! And we're gonna talk about bullying. We're gonna talk about bullying and bullies and Bullyology 101. If you've never taken that course, I've got 4 people here tonight that have taken Bullyology 101. And I'm not gonna do all the talking. Dee Dee, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. How are you doing tonight, Blaze?
Absolutely great. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm excited to breathe fire with everyone. So,
whoa, that's what I'm talking about. Breathing fire. And Lori, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
Like Blaze, I'm fired up and very honored to be here. And I'm just ready to share it, to learn, and then learn from you all too.
Well, I tell you what, I'm just in the words of a favorite Saturday night quote, I'm for cleft. Definitely for cleft. I'm definitely excited about this show, excited about the people I have on this show. I always say, well, hey, the experts are here on the videos, but listen, tonight, definitely the experts are here. So everybody that's tuning in tonight, I see there's 3 of you looking already. All right. Please put some comments in the chat and definitely ask questions because we got the specialist here. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna listen to the promo. And after listening to the promo, that sounded real churchy just now, right? After we listen to the promo, the next voices you'll hear. No, after we listen to the promo, we'll come back with Dee Dee Harrison, Blaze Hunter, and Lori Baird. Woo! Yeah. Yeah, the music like is freaking out there a little bit, still trying to play, and the video's over. Well, hey, that's all right. We've got an awesome show for you tonight. Bullyology 101. We've got Dee Dee Harrison in the house. We've got Blaze Hunter in the house, and we've got Lori Baird in the house with us tonight. We're gonna go around. I don't know why I just thought when I said we're gonna go around, I felt like saying take one down, pass it around, 99 miles a bear on the wall. Crazy what memories will open up all of a sudden. I'm sitting here, I'm definitely not in the back of a car, but I just happened to think that. But yeah, definitely we're gonna start off by telling a little bit about ourselves. And so we're gonna start with you, since you're right next to me up here, the diva with depression, Dee Dee Harris.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dee Dee Hairston, and I am a blogger, a mental health advocate, a new podcaster, and I'm all over the place. But my goal in life is to document my experience with mental illness, because I live with one daily, and let people know the real side of it, because we always hear about the overcoming part, we hear about the beginning part, but we never hear about the in it part. So when I started blogging, that's what I decided to do, to share the good, the bad, and the uglier with everyone, and give a voice to people that don't have a voice. And so bullying to me is a huge part of that, and I'm honored to be here today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right on down to my good friend Blaze Hunter. Blaze Hunter, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Blaze Hunter, and I'm loving the superhero theme because I am your modern day superhero heroine. And I'm here to inspire people to rise from the ashes, draw their swords, and breathe fire. And so with my work, I do that as a fertility expert, award-winning humanitarian, author, and international speaker. And I always say I'm a fertility expert that doesn't help people get pregnant. I rather help people be fertile in their lives. I had 3 miscarriages and was drowning in depression. And I decided to lean into that and heal my heart and learn how to be fertile amongst a barren season. And we are mothers of purpose and fathers of destiny. And I'm here to help people pick up those miscarried dreams and birth their purpose in this world. So I'm so excited to be here and share some experiences that I have had with bullying.
Thank you very much, Blaze. Thank you so much, dear. And Lori Baird. Lori, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I don't know how to follow that. I am just Lori Beard, originally from Puerto Rico, an island in the Caribbean, and a child that always had a lot of imagination, always observed people's behavior. And then I became the mother of 8 children. That was my life. And then after the youngest one went to kindergarten, I decided to do something different. And I did my life coaching certification, and also I'm certified as a clinical hypnosis practitioner. And I want people to become their own best friends and allies, because many times, we can bully ourselves. So I want the world to realize that when you change your mind, your life changes too, especially with positive affirmations and looking at the world with a different set of glasses.
That's
awesome. I told you guys I got some heavy hitters on the show tonight. Definitely. Yeah, you hear them talking now. Definitely. I got heavy hitters on the show tonight. And then, also we've got Canada in the house. We got Brooklyn in the house. And anybody that knows me, but see, this is not the right platform for this right now. But I see Barry Dingle. I see you're watching Barry Dingle. And Lori is from Puerto Rico. Ros con pollo.
Yes.
Hey, tres leches. Hey, I roll my tongue with it too, because it tastes really good. But also, everybody knows I'm a big Dallas Cowboy fan.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you, I am the Cowboy King. Absolutely. They know I'm a Cowboy fan, but I'm not going to wear my cowboy hat today because I don't want to draw that kind of attention to it. We're going to be talking about bullying. And Barry Dingle, my good friend from across South Carolina, chimes in and he says, "Oh, yes, this is a good topic. You bullied me today and a lot of people over my t-shirt." Now, I did not bully him today, but what a slap in the face for me to have a show on bullying. And Barry calls and tells me I bullied him. Oh boy, Barry. But Barry, we're glad you're tuning in with us tonight. You're in the right place, definitely, because we've got some really good panelists.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought that was me. You know what? I'm so glad that's you and not me, because I said, oh my God, the video is really freaking out. It's like a horror movie or something like that. You know? Don't get on the microphone. Oh, Barry wants me to show his shirt.
Oh my
Barry,
goodness.
I'm gonna get it, cue it up, and show your shirt a little later on. You know, we used to work together. He had this like really short shirt on with his stomach out, and he was saying that, you know, he missed the bus and nobody wants to take him to school. He was definitely regressing, but it made me laugh so much I was crying. But he said I was bullying him, so I gotta be careful of the line I'm walking, I guess, because I'm having a show on bullying. Bullyology, ladies. When I think of the word bully, when I wrote this show, and when I thought of bullyology, my personal definition was anybody that makes you feel really small so they can feel really big. So we're gonna kind of go around the room, and we're gonna talk about, you know, our own personal definitions of what bullying is. So and this is just, you know, we're just getting warmed up here, and we're gonna get into some stories and everything in a second. But to the diva with depression, Dee Dee Harrison, what's your personal definition of bullying?
Bullying is, I think I like your definition. You're picking on someone who you believe is less than you, in order to make yourself feel bigger. Bullying to me is coward. Coward equals coward. I like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Blaze Hunter.
You know, I think anytime you experience bullying, you have that definition of divide and conquer. It's separation. And so what I really hope that we can do as humanity to help heal that is to unite and construct, which is the opposite of divide and conquer, which is the opposite of bullying. So really, I really feel like it's all about divide and conquer when you encounter bullying.
Okay. All right. And Lori, how do you feel about, what's your personal definition of bullying?
I've looked up several things today to kind of be ready for this today, because I'm not as smart as you, Tony. You came up with that simple definition. It makes
I doubt that. Girls are always smarter than boys.
But basically, bullying is just this hurtful teasing because someone is scared, and they don't want to put down their mask, right? They put down their mask, and that's why they abuse or intimidate. And you notice that, or you realize that's happening when it's become a habit and it's repetitive, and you see that pattern. And that's when you need to detect it and realize, okay, I'm a little, I've been taken advantage of here. I've been mocked too much. And that's when and where you need to draw that line. That's what I think.
Awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. You getting ready to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, awesome. Definitely awesome. Bullying is often downplayed, ladies, as simple teasing, or boys being boys, or girls being girls, to add a sense of normalcy to it. What other misconceptions have you heard about bullying? And we're going to start with you this time, Lori.
It's like, you can't take a joke. Oh my goodness, you're so sensitive. You know, it's just they're putting it on you rather than owning it and taking responsibility for hurtful words.
Okay, awesome. And that's true. That's something you hear a lot. How about you, Blaze?
I often get, well, that's just my opinion, right? And we have to be able to separate what is opinion and what is just downright mean and rude and not considerate of someone's feelings. And then you get the other perspective of everyone's too sensitive, but we should always encounter people and treat them as if They were your family member that you love and adore and cherish. And if I'm speaking to them in a harsh way, it doesn't matter if it's my opinion, I'm hurting someone. And perception is reality. So if they're perceiving it as mean or hurtful, that is their reality.
Awesome. That's a great answer. And I, before I get to Dee Dee, I just wanted to say, and that's true. That's what people, that's one thing that they do is like, in order to try and downplay it, they'll say, that's just my opinion. And you wonder, what kind of sociopath is this? To sit here and to say something so totally repulsive to somebody. And it's almost like, no empathy. No empathy whatsoever. And they'll say something and you're like, well, didn't your mom or your dad? And I understand we don't all come up the same way, but did someone along the way teach you some tact? You cannot talk to people like that. But you find that every day. Every day you find that. To the diva with depression up here in the corner. I felt like we on Hollywood Squares. Question number 4. Because question number to the diva with depression. What do you think? What do you think about the question on the floor?
Go off of what Blaze just said, that I always say that, people say, oh, I'm keeping it real. And I'm like, you're keeping it real rude, because that's not the way you're supposed to talk to people. I think that one of the biggest misconceptions that we have is that bullying stops at the 12th grade when you graduate from high school, which is not true. There are so many adult bullies in the world. We can just turn on CNN and see how many adult bullies really exist. So we have to be mindful that people can be bullied throughout their lives, at all different stages, not just childhood.
Amen. Amen. And I do see that Barry chimed in. Barry said, yes, can Laura put me to sleep to find out if anything is wrong with me? Oh my God.
That's another show, Barry.
Then he's got Laura working. She's on the show. She says, Barry, hypnosis helps in many ways. I tell you that, Barry. I love him though. I love it. He keeps it live. I'm glad that he's
He's watching. He's paying attention.
That's right.
I'm paying attention to the comments.
That's right. His pencil is sharpened. Definitely his pencil is sharpened. So now, I think that, we are actually 17 minutes and 39 seconds into the show. That sounded like I would just have my finger on the pulse of the morning, right? Like I just know everything that's going on. The all-knowing Cornell. We're going to start telling our bullying stories. We're going to start telling our bullying stories. We're going to tell you about how we've been bullied. And so I'm going to start with Blaze Hunter about her bullying story.
I think every single person can share that they've experienced some sort of bullying, whether it was a child, through family life, through friendship circles, work, anything like that. And you know what? I have throughout my life, different encounters and experiences, bad boyfriends, and I didn't know my worth in those relationships, and I allowed that, and I didn't know my worth to get out of it, but thank God I found a way out of that. And I learned how to stand up for myself. But that was in relationships. And then move forward into adult life. I didn't quite know how to work through it in working relationships with bosses, other women that had jealousy. And then, I love that you talked about your episode last time about Pentecostal faith, because actually that's what I'm encountering right now is bullying in my own faith. And it's something that I really wanted to shed light on, because that is the complete opposite of what that faith is supposed to be about. And I was struggling as a mother, as a person that didn't know my worth, didn't know my place, my purpose as a woman. And I had these miscarriages, and I felt like God had left me, because who could experience that deep of pain and that be my purpose, right? And so I felt abandoned by God. And I wrote a book to heal my heart from self-hatred and the rejection of my 3 babies, that I was feeling that they had rejected me. And I wrote this book to heal, and then it organically created a business for myself. And I found my purpose, And God has had favor on me and opened doors for me for healing and to help heal humanity and bring a voice to the voiceless of the babies that have left and to bring healing for mothers and fathers who have lost their babies. And yet, now that I have found my purpose, I have been bullied by other Christian women because what I do seems out of the norm. What I do pushes the boundary of religion and women being held under certain kind of ceilings in the religious faith. And for some reason, that is charged that sense of entitlement, that sense of boundary, the prison and shackles these women have been feeling in religion for a very long time. And instead of recognizing that they're being charged in a trigger, they think I'm the enemy. And so now over time, over the last few years of this work that I've been doing, I get called out weekly by pastors, by friends, by family, that what I'm doing isn't of God, that what I'm doing is harmful to their faith.
I want to understand why.
I wrote a book to talk about a few topics, like definitely my body image, my self-image, motherhood, and also infertility. And the cover of my book has a woman in her underwear, just her underwear, it looks like a bathing suit, nothing too risque. But I grew up in a Pentecostal faith, and this might as well be pornography.
Absolutely. If the hair is not pinned up and the dress is not 7 inches from the floor, that's pornography.
Right? And they literally judged a book by its cover rather than reading the words. And even people that have read the book still can't actually seem to let it sit into their hearts. They still judge what they're seeing versus what the spirit of the law versus letter of the law. They don't actually understand the spirit of which I'm doing, which is trying to help heal women's oppression with religion or without, right? And they don't even give me a chance, which if they gave me a chance, they would realize what I'm doing, where it came from, that the whole source of the book was from an actual Christian church meeting where the woman healing minister pointed me out of a crowd because I said, God, I need a sign that I'm not going to die. And this is my life, like my lot in life, to feel rejected and burdened with depression and hurt. And she pointed me out of a crowd and said, God hears your cry. He sees your pain. Tears will end, joy will come, and you will write a book about it. And that was a woman healing minister out of Texas. 9 months later, out of no coincidence, her daughter is the one that I ended up reaching out to write my book. I didn't know the correlation of the name. So her daughter, the daughter of the healing minister, published my book. And yet that doesn't matter to the Christian faith to some people, right? And it's really frustrating to be called that I practice witchcraft, to be called that God hates me so much that he's taken my babies, and until I write my life, I will never have another baby. And these are from Christians. And to say all the things that I do without looking at the bigger picture, and to know that, like, I'm not anybody's enemy. If you're looking at it from the Christian faith, the devil's the enemy, not me, right? So, like, love me and treat me with, respect and kindness. And that is one of the first 2 commandments of the greatest commandments in the Bible, is love your neighbor as yourself. So it's like the hypocrisy that I have uncovered is massive. And it's really challenged me to know who I am when everything I've ever known in the Christian faith is telling me I'm bad. And it's relentless, and it's exhausting, and it's hurtful. And that's not what God is about. And I wish people would understand and take a step back out of your own ideologies, because that is not what God stands for, is hurting other people in your faith, hurting anybody. And we need to stop and check that and understand, why is there a need to hurt somebody? Because what I'm doing is not hurting you, right? What I'm doing is help women and men heal. So how is that not of God? But it's taken incredible strength. Yeah, go ahead. What do you want to say?
I was saying a lot of people use that as a front, as a shield, because,
Mhm.
they're too a coward again, to look back and dig deeper and see what their personal issue is. So they're taking it out on you and using it as religion, which is what we see a lot in the world now. People using religion as a bullying tool,
Yeah,
in the name of
Blaze.
God. I think it's
Mhm.
horrible.
it is.
And Blaze, I think it's hurting them because they're not doing anything for nobody,
No,
Right.
and they're
Right.
totally.
jealous. And that's the only way they're allowing themselves to be hurt. And then
Yes.
Yeah,
because they're not doing anything to contribute to society, they need to push you down and step all over you.
exactly. And it's been, probably the greatest gift is to really be presented with those opportunities
Yes.
to then know your worth, because no longer, like, those words still hurt, but now they don't have power over me. And it's taken a few years to get there, to realize that they're not rejecting me, and it's not about me, it's about rejecting their own image in the mirror that I'm reflecting, right?
Yes.
But it's very hard when it comes to people that you love and you trust and you've known your whole life, to sit there and say you're not of God.
And that should be your main cheerleaders. They should be
Yes.
your main supporters. Yeah.
And there's no place in churches for bullies.
Mhm.
There should be absolutely no bullying happening in a place that you call of God, because God is love. So bullying is not of love, right? And even if you don't understand it, even if you don't get it, I don't know what God has planned for each and every one. I am not the one to be the judge. I'm the one to say, yes, you go. And I pray for you. Even if I think you're totally in the wrong, that is not my call. And I encourage people, I would rather err on the side of caution and encourage people and say, bless you, than curse the called. Because we don't know who is a person like an Esther in the Bible, or a Joseph, that is secretly placed strategically for a purpose that we don't know. And I would rather bless them than curse someone that is called with a purpose. So I really encourage people. This is coming from someone that has experienced that side of it. And it's hurtful and damaging and not of God. And I encourage people to check that and infuse their hearts with softness and love and the agape love of God, to share that with others and operate out of that love rather than hate.
And Blaze, I think you're so courageous to tell your story. I really do. I'm thankful you told us your story. I'm just kind of blown out of the water, but it's a crazy thing. I've been in ministry for 26 years this year, and I have encountered some bullies. But see, I'm ghetto. I'm ghetto. I'm the ghetto preacher. I'm Peter. You might get your ear cut off if you don't do the right thing. But honestly speaking, it's a thing of they hate you because they ain't you. And so, they're trying to shun you because you're doing great things and you've got a lot of other great things to do. Don't even think about them. I'm going to tell you, I can't say don't think about them because they're family, because there's an old adage, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your family. And it's a true adage, a lot of times. It might not be very, very nice, but honestly, there is bullying in the church. There's bullying in the church, and people throw their authority around, to make you feel lesser. I've arrived. I know God. I've been preaching for that doesn't even matter. I'm gonna tell you something. We're at the same starting line. We're all walking the same path, the same journey. We all have the same breath in our body. We're gonna all die one day, and so there's nobody above you, and you're not beneath anybody. And when people and really, you can tell the true sign of ignorance. And I look at it as confirmation, because I sat at a party, and that sounds so irresponsible, right? Because COVID's going on. And let me tell you guys, I don't go out at all. I hadn't been out for a whole year. And my homeboys came home and they called me, and somebody promised me free fish. And because he knows I'm fat, I went over there to get my fish, and it wasn't even a fish there. But that's digression from another time. But you know, when I went over to the party and I sat down, a distant cousin sat down with me and was telling me about this ignorant idiot who I know God didn't send to preach, said to him at his child's funeral, God took your child because you're not following your calling. Let me tell you something. I'm not an expert on God. I'm learning every day. But one thing I do know, he doesn't do things like that. He doesn't. No, he doesn't hold people hostage. He doesn't make you feel like you're lesser in a church. He doesn't walk around and shun you. That's narcissistic behavior. People walking around not talking to you. How you not gonna talk to me and speak in tongues? Oh, hallelujah. And then you ain't gonna talk to me? You mad with me and you speaking in tongues? Man, listen. I'm getting off the soapbox now because I ain't trying to preach. But you know, honestly, Blaze, I thank you. Blaze, tell us, you know, we're gonna move on and talk about some more of our stories. But Blaze, tell us the name of your book one more time. Where can we get it?
Yes, Heroine, like the hero, woman hero. Heroine, embrace your flaws and own your awesome. It's on Amazon, but also you can go to my website, blazehunter.com, and all my information is there. And thank you so much for allowing me to share that.
Oh, listen, you better share it. That's right. I tell you, we family now. When we leave now, you got another cousin, your cousin Cornell. That's right. They said, Blaze, who you talking to? Talking to my cousin Cornell. Yeah, I can see the family resemblance. But yeah, definitely. Barry Dingle was chiming in once again. And Barry said his last boss, she was a stupid bully. So Barry, you can't call her stupid now because that sounds like you're bullying. You're name calling, Barry. But I understand what you're saying because I think if that's the one he's talking about, we both had the same boss. Or I'm thinking maybe it's another boss he had that was a bully. And that means, boy, he has some bad bosses. Because we did have a boss that was a bit of a bully. And he said, I'm a little upset. I never knew your panel could see my comments. That's it's right, okay, Barry. You better be on your P's and Q's. Because listen, Lori is the sniper on the roof. And she's looking at everything you do. She's missing nothing, buddy. And Barry said, you know, I like to act up. And he said, yes, thank you. And absolutely, Barry, we're glad to have you here on the show. We're gonna listen to Lori now. Let Lori tell us her bullying story. Oh, we can't hear you, Lori.
You're muted.
Thank you. Sorry. I was going to say that I can create a timeline, basically. Yes, there's all kinds of things, right? And I say to my kids, if the people are not upset at you, jealous of you, criticizing you, it means you're doing nothing, right? When we are doing something, want to accomplish, want to stand out, is when people start noticing. And of course, they need to pick on you. So starting with elementary school, my household was very different from the school I attended, very well-to-do private school because my mom was divorced. That's where she wanted to teach there so we can have a good education too. And my religion was different from the school that I was going to. So the teachers there would just try to like tell me and ask me questions so I can doubt my own faith. That's one. Another one was kind of self-inflicted as the result of divorce because then I thought I was less than everybody else there in my environment. Everybody seemed to just have come from perfect family units, and the moms there were teachers just because they didn't want to be bored, not because they really needed it financially. That's what I thought. And then what else? Middle school just started to shoot up and grow and became very tall. People usually, since the virtual movement here like a year ago, they don't see me standing up, right? So when I finally meet people in person, they're like, oh, you're tall. So that happened when I was in middle school. So then their nicknames of flamingo legs and giraffe was a big deal. It was funny, right? For some kids. If you can't beat them, join them. And sometimes a technique or a tactic to overcome this bullying thing, you kind of laugh at yourself too, right? To kind of show that you're not bugged by it. But it still affected me, right? Because I was thinking, is there something wrong with my legs or being tall? As it turned out, I grew up and then started having all these babies and all that, and people couldn't believe like I maintained my long legs, long. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So now, as it turned out, it's a good thing. So it's so confusing because no matter if you're big, you're small, you're short, you're tall, people are always going to bug you. If you're too short, they're going to give you a hard time too. And if you're too skinny or you're too weak and too frail, if you're too big, you're too big, So then wanting to have all those kids, people, instead of sending funds, if they're so worried about my household finances, they just criticize. Oh, you seem like you have your hands full. Oh, do you guys don't have a TV? Comments like that. And no, we didn't for years. And who cares? Why do you care? Right. and then I wanted to nurse. And they were like criticizing me because I was skinny or whatever. Like, are you giving that baby some skim milk? That baby's not going to grow with just your milk, so things like that. Also, like Blaze, I wrote a book. And as I was going to speak and be a guest to talk about my book, it's called Freedom from Self-Slavery, a guide for self-mastery and empowerment. Because like I said, sometimes we are the ones that self-inflict this bullying and just keep the mind chatter about how horrible we are, etc. I had a client once that I said, hey, so where does this negativity come from? Like, did you have horrible parents or this, or like a figure of authority that always put you down? And he's like, nobody, everybody was always cheering me up. It was just here in my head. It was just me. And that's where I wanted to help people to overcome these patterns of thought processing patterns that are detrimental to ourselves. And I wrote this book and I gave it this title from a lecture of a wonderful leader in my church. Basically, I kind of picked up a little snippet of that phrase. And as I was going to speak, they're like, wait a minute, what is the name of your book again? Oh, Freedom from Self-Slavery. That's alluding to shame. And we don't want you to speak now. So that knocked me down for like a week, because after I battle, Blaze, I wonder, like, to pick a picture, to pick the title of your book. It's just so many options, and which one do I pick, to be the one that's going to hit the jackpot, right? So no matter what, we're going to be put down. And that's my timeline of bullying. And when you ask the question in that other group, looking for the guests, I don't know. I didn't know, like, I wasn't pushed away or people weren't around me saying, na, 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 boo, boo. But when I thought of it, I'm like, wait a minute, I have been bullied. Mm-hmm. And with your definition, saying that it's someone that makes you feel really small so they can feel really big. Even though I had my long legs, I felt small when people would criticize me and call me names. So that's my little story or timeline.
That's an awesome story. Mm-hmm. And it's classical bullying, making you a target. It's sad, but that's just how they lash out. And so people being nosy, invasive, wondering what's going on in your household, about your money, if you're making it, your family's happy, you've chosen your path. This is what you're doing. And you're not getting any financial help from them, but wanting to interject into your life, interject into your life and almost probably living through you vicariously, telling you what you should be doing. And that's a nerve. That's a lot of nerve. Right. People are nosy though. I had someone ask me something the other day, and my ghetto side, I have to do my own PR on the road sometimes. My ghetto side wanted to say, well, let's pretend it's your business. But my nice side was like, well, okay, this is how it happened. Yeah, definitely, maybe. Just take them all around the mulberry bush. But I think you're definitely very, very courageous, telling us your story about bullying, and what you went through, and tell them, hey, how you like me now, got my book out, published author, you know what I'm saying? How you like me now? That's
right. Those giraffe legs. Kick them with those giraffe legs.
Absolutely, that's right. And that's so nutso, because that's one of the main features of modeling. You know, that's one of the main features of modeling.
I didn't realize that forever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And Blaze and I, it's so interesting, Blaze, and I hope you're okay with this comment. Just opposite. You didn't have kids for, we're here in this mortal existence, right? And then I've heard like we are spirits going through a mortal experience rather than being a physical experience, rather than being a physical going through this experience only. And, we have a mortal body that's imperfect. And for whatever reason, and I don't know that you have kids already or not.
I do. I had one daughter, and then the trouble happened.
Okay.
But it was just there was just so much grief, right? And then because it wasn't my choice to not have any more, it was like, that's the definition of a woman, is to be reproductive. Right.
But
then you're barren, and you're like, I'm a barren woman, even though I have a daughter, it's not my choice. Right.
And people that don't know what they don't know. That's so wonderful that you were blessed with the one, but I know some people that haven't been.
Yes.
And then they judge you because they don't know what's happening inside. And they think, oh, you're selfish because of you having 0 or just 1, and things like that. And with me, well, I am wanting to overpopulate the world. So that's what's proved that, like, again, you're tall, you're short, you're doomed anyway.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
And that's why we need to just be who we are, live our purpose, and just let our light shine. And I know we need to hear from Didi.
Yes. Well, and I love the title of your book, because, every bully and everybody that's been bullied and is struggling like that, it's just because we have a lack of purpose. Because if someone had purpose, they wouldn't bully. Right. And if you have purpose, being on the receiving end, you know how to work through it because you know your identity, right? So that's the goal, is to free ourselves from the shame of slavery and lack of identity, and walk forward together, owning all who we are, united, side by side. So thank you.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you.
What an awesome show so far. I know Didi, the diva with depression, about to come in here and shut it down, throw the X up and everything, with the X in the air. So we're gonna pass. I'm getting ready to say pass the mic. See, that's my old rapper coming on. Didi, if you're on, getting ready. 1 2 1 2. So
don't
Didi,
let me grab it.
So Didi, we're gonna pass the mic to you now. And so you can tell us about your depression, not your depression story, your bullying story.
Well, it all ties together. But you guys are amazing. I don't have a book. I just have my notes that I'm taking, so I'll show that. I was a nonverbal child. I did not talk a lot. So when I entered into school, it was no talking. I was very shy, and I just didn't talk to anybody but my brother. So my first bullying episode happened in the 2nd grade, and a little girl called me the B word on my way home from school. And so what I remember thinking, well, first of all, how do you know that word in the 2nd grade? But what she didn't know, people, they thought that I would get taken out of class during a certain time every day. And they thought that I was getting special privileges. But what they didn't know is that I was sitting in the guidance counselor's office because I didn't talk. So they were trying to find out why I was nonverbal. They didn't know that, or that, that I was scoring higher on the exams than the other kids in my class. And so they had to take me out of the class during certain lessons because I was bored, or because, they wanted to work with me. They thought I was getting special privilege. So the bullying started there, and it just went on. With the boys, they want to tease you because either your boobs are bigger or your boobs are smaller, or your booty's bigger or your booty's smaller, or, and it just follows you for different reasons. Just like Lori said, either you're the cheerleading beautiful girl, or you're the nerd. And I was always the nerd. And not only was I the nerd, I was also a tomboy. I have 2 brothers. I'm in the middle. So I was playing football and basketball while other people were playing with Barbies. And so the second part of bullying was that my friends were always guys. And what do you have when you have guy friends? You have the girls that like them. And then, so then you have the girls are jealous of you because they think that you have the attention of these guys. They don't know that, I'm just playing basketball and, football and, they're beating me up, on the side. So you have that. And my bullying episodes, some of them were physical. I was jumped in junior high school. I was threatened with physical attacks, with a knife attack. Someone followed me in high school. The police had to get involved in certain cases. My father was a cop, actually. And the hurtful thing is that you always think that it's you, especially as a child. You always say, what am I doing that people don't like me? I have nothing to be jealous of. I was talked about because we didn't have money, so I didn't have the latest jeans. I didn't have the latest hairstyles. Well, I hated combing my hair. I didn't have the latest sneakers, and we know that in New York, sneakers are important, but I didn't have those things. So what are you jealous of me for? I don't have all the boyfriends. What are you jealous of me for? And that carried on throughout my life. Why would you be jealous of me? Why would you envy me? I don't have anything. I'm nothing. I always say now that the kids of today, it breaks my heart, because I used to get followed home from school. But when you followed me home from school and I closed the door, I could shut out the bullies. We didn't have a phone all the time. So if you were calling, you weren't getting through. So I had that time, to sort of come down. But the babies today have 24-hour bullying at their fingertips, with social media and things of that nature. And so that's another reason why I wanted to I started including the bullying stories in my mental health story, because, you start to believe over the years that you have nothing. There's no reason for, you're less than, and people are bullying you and making you feel less than, and you grow up and you believe that. And then, like Tony touched on, there are some adults in your life and their family members who bully you for, oh, how fat you got, or, what's wrong with your hair, or you need to put yourself together. These are people that are supposed to love you, and they're bullying you. And so you start to capture all of that, and all of that stays in your mind. And then you go into corporate America, which is, like Barry was saying, these bosses that are bullies, that are on power trips, who are harassing you. Now you have bullies that are just harassing people because they are on power trips. But then as a woman, you have men that are harassing you because you're a woman and they think that you're less than. And then as a Black woman, you have men who are treating you because you're a woman, treating you less than because you're a woman and you're Black, and then you have people that are mistreating you because you don't have the Gucci suits to wear to work every day, and you don't have, the Prada shoes and different things like that. So it goes on for all of your life. But the thing that really started making me speak up, and it's odd that I didn't talk when I was little, but is racism sort of started me with being verbal about the abuse, the bullying, when I got into corporate America. Because after a while, it was like, well, you can't treat people like that. So I sort of became the mouth for people. If I saw something going wrong, I was going to say something, because we're all intelligent people. We are all beautiful people, and we're all here doing the same work that you're doing. As a matter of fact, I'm doing your work. So what gives you the right to treat us like that because of the skin color, or because of our gender? And but I really started speaking up and getting fired up when I had kids. And I have two amazing daughters, beautiful daughters. And when they were going through school, especially my oldest daughter, when the bullying started, I was so angry. I was so angry because I had thought that we came a long way with that. I thought that parents were getting to the point where they were talking to their children more, that they were teaching their children right and wrong, because you're from my generation. So I would think that I'm home talking to my girls about not bullying people, and loving people. So other people should be doing it too. Not thinking that those bullies that bullied me are now raising bullies who are bullying my babies. So that's when I realized that this is going to be an ongoing problem, and it's internal, and like Blaze said, bullying in church or bullying because of your message. Someone told me when I started this platform that even if you change one person, you've done your job, and that's what you have to remember, is that you are amazing. Both of you are amazing. And you're telling your story, and you've reached one person. Listen, if I'm the person, because I'm taking notes, you guys are amazing. Then when you go to sleep tonight, you know that you did your job. And
you too, Didi.
God doesn't make junk. God doesn't make junk. I firmly believe that. And, even though I suffer from severe depression and I go through terrible bouts of self-doubt or whatever, I do know that when I wake up and I'm in a good place, I was put here for a reason, and that I am living my purpose. And so I get bullied too with my messages. My very first blog that took me 6 months to write, this lady called me a racist because I was talking to Black women. How dare you? We all have depression. Well, hold on. The plights are different. The fights are different. The stories are different. And we have to pick a battle. And I know that my people are struggling. So I want to talk to my people and learn how to struggle, just like you do that every day. But that was my very first comment. I saved it. And I was so dejected. Lori said, I was knocked out for a week. I was not going to blog anymore. Mm-hmm. But then somebody else under the comment said, thank you for your message. It resonated with me. I'm going through the same thing. And then the comments kept coming like that, and then I said, okay, well, I reached one person, and that was it. And I learned that bullies are cowards. Number one, they are cowards. They're blowhards. As we see in the world, you're going to tell women that they can't breastfeed. You're going to tell women that what they can and cannot do with their bodies. You're going to tell Black and Latinos where they can live and where they can shop and where they can go. Those are bullies, and they are just using it to mask their insecurities. They're the ones that are actually less than, not us. We have a purpose. They don't, like you said. So we have to hold on to that and know that there's something wrong with them, and we also have to, the flip side of it is that bullies are also abused. There are kids that are abused by their mothers and fathers. They are abused sexually, emotionally, foster children, babies from all walks of life, and they grow up. I read something yesterday that this man in Harlem runs a gardening program, and he said that he starts with the children, working with the children, and they're foster kids and they're homeless children. And he said by the time they're 11 years old, he sees their light go out. And he said, and then the light goes out and the life of crime and the life of bullying and the life of self-sabotage starts. I'm the same way. My light went out. That was the age my light went out. So we have to understand that there are a lot of lightless people walking around in the world because of what happened to them when they were younger. And they didn't have guidance and they didn't have love. But we learned to separate it.
And that's why they want to steal your light.
Right. And that's I try to make sure now, because I'm like Tony, I'm ghetto. I say the F word all the time. And I take no shorts, initially, I want to fly off the handle. Now that I'm a little older and long in the tooth, I sit back and I say, well, where's that coming from? So I know I will focus on whether you were just being mean or that was coming from a place of hurt. Did that come from something that, happened yesterday? Or did that come from something that happened in your childhood and you haven't resolved it yet? I have a bully that we have mutual friends on Facebook and Instagram. And she was the worst bully they were the worst bully of my life. I mean, the worst. And every time I see her name, I shake. And I am 52 years old, and we're talking about something that happened when I was 10, 11, between 10 and 13. So we're talking 40 years. But that's just goes to show you how long it could carry if you don't, settle it, or if you don't suppress it. But we keep those feelings inside, but we just have to reconcile it in any way that we can, whether we use God, whether we use the church, whatever we use, and realize that bullying it's abuse. It's a crime. It's actually a crime. It's a hate crime. And we have to start focusing on, boys will not be boys. When I was in the 4th grade, a boy, ran behind me and popped my bra strap. That's sexual abuse, because you're touching my body. That's not bullying. That's not boys will be boys. You violated my body. And we have to start addressing it as that and realize that mentally, it just messes us up if we don't find something to turn that light around. So I hope we keep talking about it. And I told you, Tony, I think that this is an awesome subject, especially since the babies are going back to school now. I say babies, I'm talking to everybody, but it's awesome.
Absolutely. Dee Dee, you're very brave. That's a courageous story that you told us. I've got an echo. I must be in the Grand Canyon. You hear that echo? I feel the echo. Going down here and see if the echo stop. But that's very courageous. Your story you were telling us, and
Thank you.
I absolutely can. I can absolutely identify with it. Before I tell my story, I'm going to see Blaze, Lori. Did you guys have anything to say about Dee Dee's story?
Like, Dee Dee, wow, thank you for your courage. And it's just, everybody has a unique story. And I love the point that the bullies have had issues too. And that has been the greatest thing to get out of your head and your own hurts and have compassion for the person that's being mean, right? And ruthless with you. It's coming from a hurt place. And we can all step out of our own triggers and our own traumas and have a nice, loving response rather than a reaction, then we can somehow heal that and come together, right? So I appreciate you bringing that up.
And it doesn't come easy. It does not come easy. It's hard to get to that place. And I'm not saying that everybody gets that grace,
Right.
but yeah, we do need to do that more. Thank you.
Me too, Dee Dee. It shows your character. It shows the person you have become and grown to be, loving, kind. Again, that compassion is so crucial and important for us to, like Tony said, these people are hurting, and like you said, Dee Dee. However, it doesn't mean that we're going to allow them or enable them to take advantage of that. And we still need to set those boundaries and draw those lines. But yes, definitely your story. And I am envisioning in your future or your book saying from quiet to outspoken or something like that, because, and how much damage does judging and assuming does, right?
Yes.
And this person was jealous of you without even knowing. She probably was an intelligent girl. She was able to speak up, right? But she was just in her mind, between her ears, thinking, oh, you're privileged and I cannot have that privilege, right?
Exactly.
Which it's her hurt, her pain, right?
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that. Thanks for wanting to make a difference and help others now.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And the quiet storm, but what was big for me, it was, you talking about, living in New York growing up and not having, the shoes. And the shoes have always been, our shoes were not as important as the shoes today, because the shoes today are real important. $275 for some Air Jordan. I'm saying, if Mike Jordan not coming by my house and helping me lace up and shoot basketball with me, I'm not buying no $275 sneakers. But definitely. But yeah, the shoes were important, and kids will shame you when you don't, and as if you had power over that. They'll shame you if you don't wear jeans up to their spec. If they'll shame you if you're not wearing sneakers up to their spec, and they can really make it hard for other kids. And I was one of the dummies that used to do that at one time, ignorant. not understanding, and just being in the crowd. But it's not until you get to be an adult, and you grow up and you say to yourself, oh my God, I can't believe I was even a part of something like that.
Right.
And you didn't start off being a part of that, but the thing was, you just joined the group.
Right.
I was going to say that. I was going to say sometimes when we point our finger, three are pointing at us.
Yeah.
And I have been guilty of some not nice things to tell others, and when I was a young girl in middle school, we had a student in my classroom that his dad was a teacher that nobody liked, none of the students. And I think he kind of perceived that I knew it. And I stood up in front of everybody, one of those times where the students are left alone, like there's no teachers in the room or something. And I started like impersonating him and all that. And his sons ended up crying. And that wasn't nice of me. Like I was making fun of him and all that, the teacher, and he was from Spain. So he had this accent and everything. And I started impersonating him because I was angry at this teacher. He was not very nice, but it was not nice of me to do that. Just wanting to get that out of my system now that I have this opportunity. And, but I apologized to him and I said, I am so sorry. I was a jerk. That was not nice of me. To this day, we still talk. And I saw how that me apologizing helped him see that, okay, I'm a human. I made a mistake. But that was kind of bullyish of me. But it gets worse when it's repetitive and when the person doesn't own up to it. But like I just said when we started, and that's when it's wrong, when somebody doesn't own up to it. It was hard. It was hard to say sorry.
I think self-reflection, self-reflection is so important because we're all going to be human and we're all going to do things that are out of character or wrong. But when we can reflect and be aware and then make it right, that's where we'll see growth and healing and uniting, right? So thank you guys so much. My apologies. I have to go run and pick up my daughter. That was not planned.
Oh, no, listen, you got to go do that.
I appreciate this platform. Tony, I'm going to have to watch back and hear your story because I'm very curious and want to hear about your story as well. But thank you so much for having me, you guys. This has been a great dialogue to really, shed some light on as adults, right?
I can't wait to read your book, and I want to have the same group back again. I definitely want to have this same group back. I really enjoyed this group dynamic, and you better go pick up your daughter.
Thank you. I apologize.
Oh no, there's nothing to apologize for. We love you. Let's hear it for Blaze Hunter.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Blaze. And now my story, the Tony story, tell them you're a tiger. The Tony story. Growing up, it was I'm not going to be with it all started when I was 10. No, but I mean, one thing I will say before I start my story is that, the trauma, how long the trauma goes on, because just to hear you say, Dee Dee, that you still shake,
Wow,
and so if you need me to,
powerful.
Need us to roll up. I'm throwing hands in the air. Let me put my hands down. Other ministers see me and say, I tell you he's in the gang. Throwing gang signs on the show. But honestly, I don't want you to feel afraid of that person because, they're just a scared person. Under that whole exterior, they're afraid. They're frightened. And you know what? They can't stand how great you are. And they don't want you to be great. That's what it is. They kept their foot on you for so long, but yet you still were great. And you're still successful.
Compassionate and forgiving and humble. Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
That's what they don't like. That's what they don't like, your goodness.
Yeah. You're like a guru, you're up there, grasshopper, take the rock from my eye. I mean, seriously. Yeah, and so they can't stand that. And I just, that really struck a chord when you said that, because I'm kind of like Blaze was saying, kind of like a freedom fighter too, for people, especially when you see people that are being bullied are still having the effects of being bullied, it kind of strikes a chord in you. And, I dealt with it from a standpoint of my story was different because, you know, my grandparents raised me here, and then I go to New York every summer, and I get cool all of a sudden. You know, I go to New York, get cool. You know, yeah, what's going on, man? What you talking about? What? Yeah, and so, you know, I go get cool in New York. Then I'm going to get that New York gear when I come back. My parents were divorced, and so that means I could double dip. You know, I could go to him, get what I need. I can go to her, so that's going to be 2 pairs of sneakers. And so I come back, you know, and I was geared up. Then my grandparents go take me too, so I'm geared up, you know. And so a lot of people weren't able to gear up like that. And when they'd see me, that would cause problems because here I was with all these clothes and here they were. And so I was ostracized because of that. And not only ostracized because of that, I had no fight in me. I had no fight. Listen, all I want to do, crack jokes, be a comedian. And I was quiet, you know, because I was like, keep your head down, keep your mouth shut. You won't get in trouble. Because by that time, when I got to high school, you know, I'd already encountered bullying. And so then I just tried to like be invisible. You know, if you can imagine, you know, something this big being invisible, you know, I was trying to be invisible. And so basically, you know, it got worse because it didn't stop. It just got progressively worse. And it got to the point where it'd be physical, you know, getting hit with a belt on the bus or guys saying things to you. And the thing is that it would be different if when they insulted you, you could insult them back, but you couldn't insult them back because it was like you say something that you're not supposed to say, then they might get physical with you. Right. So you just have to sit there and take it. And the whole bus is laughing. These are your peers. Your peers are laughing. You're the brunt of the joke every day. Every day you're the brunt of the joke. And I had this one friend, and she became a supermodel. And and so she was very, very, very beautiful. And she befriended me. And so she'd meet me every morning at the bus stop when my bus would pull up. So that made me look like a G. You know, all of a sudden now, I'm looking like Big Willie. I'm like, boom, you could hear the Snoop Dogg playing when we pull the bus up. Boom, 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 boom. You know, but I was still a quiet Snoop Dogg because I was afraid still because of the bullies. And so we'd be together every morning. And you know, she just like molded me, man, you know, and helped me to come out of my shell. And so the turtle was coming out of the shell. I started doing rap music. You know, I was getting popular for doing the rap music and everything. But the bullying didn't stop. And it got to a point, and you know, my grandparents over there were one side, you know, my granddad was a deacon in church, and my grandmother didn't believe in fighting in school. And so, you know, I was discouraged to fight in school because, you know, and I really couldn't fight good anyway, you know. And so what it was is that here I am, I can't fight. I'm not supposed to fight. I really can't fight. And they were really still just like doing things to me. And it got to a point one day where I got chased off the bus. Someone threw a brick at me, and I just put my arm up in time to block the brick, and it hit me in the arm. And I mean, it swole my arm up. Police car was passing by. I had to get in the police car, ride with the policeman. My grandmother was coming down the road with the clothesline stick, you know, because that's like how we roll. And my grandma was like, ooh, 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 ooh. Hey, hey. And she was on the way down there. And so here I was, man. I got my arm in a cast. I'm going to school the next day. My grandmother had to save me. Boy, do I feel like Harrison Ford or Indiana? I feel really, really worthless, you know? Yeah. I feel really worthless. And I got to school, and when she and I were walking, my grandfather brought me to school, and she and I were walking, and so the guys came behind me, and they was taunting me. They came over to where I was to taunt me about what they did yesterday. And she said to me, "Don't worry, Carnell, I'll save you." And when she said that to me, something happened inside of me, and something snapped. And I think that the Kraken was released, you know, release the Kraken. I think he was released then, you know, he was released. And all of a sudden, I you know, hurt arm and everything, I made a declaration. I said, when my arm heals, I'm getting everybody back. So it was like almost like I know what you did last summer. And I'm going to tell you, any young people listening to this, I strongly discourage this because there's a whole different way that you guys are dealing with things these days. And it's not about fist fights. It's about conflict resolution. You know, you got to find a way that you guys can talk. I'm telling you about how I dealt with it back when we used to ride dinosaurs to school and everything. And so, yeah, you know, everybody, hey, that's your pterodactyl, Pat? Yeah, that's my pterodactyl. No, I came in the Mastodon today. But yeah, you know, that's back in the days. And she told me that, and I got everybody, you know, back. But the thing was, I remember one guy, and I was still so scared of him, and I had him down because I was a big boy, but I wouldn't hit him. And I was afraid to hit him, even though I had him pinned in submission. I got all this weight on top of him, all these muscles that little Debbie had helped to form, and red velvet cakes and macaroni in the dishes and everything. And I had him down and was still scared to hit him. But those times helped me to form a shark fin. You know, they helped me to form. I became a great white shark. And you know, after that, I had to really respond to bullies with the bullies' same behavior pattern. And I didn't want to do that, you know, but we became the best of friends. But kids can be really, really super cruel. Yes. They can be super cruel, you know. And now we've got young people, like we talked about cyberbullying, and we've got young people that can be bullied all day long. I couldn't even imagine all day long that on social media, somebody got 3,000 friends, almost 5,000 friends. They're bullying you. You got people chiming in that don't even know you. What humiliation. Yes. What humiliation that's got to be. And kids are committing suicide.
The rate is so high.
Mm-hmm. Super sad. And I'm glad you have this information on the bottom in the banner there. Please do something about it. If you know of someone, encourage them to get help. And I love quotes, Tony, if you allow me to share some quotes and let us know. I know we're a little bit past the time, but it says, if people are trying to bring you down, it only means that you're above them. Think about that. And then pulling someone down will never help you reach the top. And blowing out someone else's candle doesn't make yours shine any brighter. So please be careful. And sarcasm and joking around, it's not always a good solution. And it doesn't matter if you're joking. Words are so powerful that we digest them, or it leaves a mark. Our tongue, I know there is a Bible verse that even talks about our tongue. It's the most powerful muscle, right? And because of the damage it can cause with words. And another quote that I have is for all of us to remember and to take courage, right? To stand for what's right, to stand up for others also. Maybe we are overcoming all this, right? And we have developed this confidence now because we know better, and we have those lessons that we have shared, but we learned those lessons, but people are in that journey now. And we can defend them. We can stand up for others and for ourselves, of course. And this quote says, courage is fire and bullying is smoke. So we need to be courageous. We need to be courageous and light up that light and that fire within us, so we can just share it, you know, like a little candle. One can just lighten up a whole room when we share it. And I just love that you have this series, Tony, and that you had us as guests. And I just, like I said, I want to share, but I think I learned more that I was able to share. And thanks for your stories.
I love your story, Tony. I love it. It says so much because it's, you know, I was bullied when I was younger because I was the skinny kid, and you're saying that you were bullied when you were younger because you were the big kid. But what stood out to me, what you just said, and it's something that always stays in my mind, is when you said that you tried to remain invisible because you didn't want the attention. And I know my girlfriend gets on me all the time because she's like, you have to stop wearing these big t-shirts and your leggings and, putting your hair back or whatever. Because I don't want anybody to see like I've gotten bullied for being bigger now, for being heavy. And so, if I wear the big t-shirt, and no makeup and all that stuff, I'm making myself invisible. And I know people, like you said, people like, well, how can you make this something that big invisible? But internally, that's how you feel that you want to be invisible. And I think that that's something that should be shared more, especially among the younger population. Take bully aside and say it that way. You are making that person feel invisible, like they're inferior, like they don't matter. You are making them want to end their life.
Disappear.
We have to stop sugarcoating. But I love that, you wanted to be invisible because so many of us want to do that, as children and adults. I love your story.
Thank you. Thank you, dear. I I just, I have been. This has been such a awesome show. I've had just awesome guests, and I definitely I'm gonna be bothering you guys a lot. I'm trying to get you back at least once a month because this is gonna. That's right. This is gonna be our thing. We're gonna do. That's right because this is therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
It has definitely been therapeutic for me. Lori, the quotes. Dee Dee with the awesome story. Blaze had to leave, but Blaze with a super awesome story, and and you can see where in each case the bully tried to really dig at the most the deepest thing that was going on in all of our lives at the time. To try to get it, and some of us more than others, because when I listen to the other stories, I'm like, wow, I'm like, wow, and so trying to make us feel bad, for our life and how we're living our life. But I will tell you, Dee Dee, girl, you a diva, girl. Listen,
Thank
that's right. I tell my cousin used to always tell my aunt, because my cousin was a heavy set guy. He'd be like, he had a problem with girls, getting girls in high school. And he was younger than I am, and he said, yeah, the girls aren't paying attention to me. And Ma told him, said, well, think about Cornell. And she said, well, he said, well, he can trick them real good. And I said, you can trick them real good. You make me sound like some kind of magician. But no, definitely, people making us feel lesser,
Yes.
or going around and preying on us, because they think we're the weaker. But I thank them for what they did to me, and it changed my life by being bullied. Gave me the shark fin, and I'm just really happy about that. That's the one good thing that came of it. That's the Romans 8:28 spin. They made all things work together for good. They might not have meant it for good, like Joseph said. Yeah, but they meant it for evil, but God used it for good. And so it's our circumstances that we've gone through that actually make us really, really awesome people that we are. And I've had some awesome people on this show. And Dee Dee and Lori, is there anything you guys would like to say before we go?
Dee
I
Dee?
will say that just to let people know, I am on all platforms as Diva with Depression. And my podcast is called Behind the Mask with Diva with Depression. And it's on Podbean, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes. And it is a mental health um, platform, but I discuss everything. So, and Tony, you're amazing. I went into this blind. I did not get to listen to everything that you did, and I didn't get to read everything. But your personality is amazing, and I'm glad that God used you for better because this platform is amazing. I love everybody that uses their platform for something, and you're in Somerville, so that's a plus. But keep doing what you're doing, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Lori, it was great meeting you too.
Great to meet you too, Diva. And thank you so much, Tony, because this is definitely a tool, an instrument. You're being an instrument in God's hands for you to shine your light and for people to see and understand they have a value. They can learn from your lessons. They can learn from the guests that come and their anecdotes and their stories and see that they can be and work on whatever they would want to be, for them to fulfill their purpose and shine that light and pay it forward. Thank you so much for your energy, for your enthusiasm, for your happiness, and more than that is like a full joy. And it's obvious that you love what you do, and that you are using this platform to share a positive message to make an impact. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies. That's so sweet. I'm telling you, y'all about to give me like a Steel Magnolias moment or something like that. You know,
Oh my
I do
God,
sports
one of
shows.
my favorite movies.
Yeah, you know, I do sports shows, you know, and everything like that. My friends would be like, "Man, did you cry?" I had a cousin. He's not here anymore. But you know, he'd be like, "Did you cry? Were you sniffling?" Be like, "Nah, man." Like my friend liked to say, I had allergies, man. That's what it was. It was allergies. Those were allergies. But yeah, my heart is just full. I'm really thankful for you, Lori, for you, Dee Dee, for our good friend Blaze Hunter that was here. And I'm gonna give it to you guys one more time. Dee Dee Harrison, Blaze Hunter, and Lori Baird. Hey! Yeah! Lightning in a bottle. And go out there and buy that book, man. Buy those books. You know, buy those books. Definitely. Lori's Steadfast Forward. And Lori's book. What's the name of your book again, Lori?
Freedom from Self-Slavery.
Freedom from Self-Slavery. You heard that before? That's Bob Marley. Give you freedom from self-slavery. Yeah. Get that freedom from self-slavery. Go to Amazon and get it. And you better listen to the Diva with Depression. What's that platform again? Diva with Depression?
At Diva with Depression on all platforms.
On all platforms, guys. And so listen, this is gonna be the group you're gonna be seeing at least once a month. I'm committing them already. Because I love them. I'm committing them already. And to all of you out there, if you're being bullied, you know, pull the plug on it today. Live your best life and stop letting people bully you. Stop letting people push you around. That's right. Don't let people push you around. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't do it. Because you have purpose. And I leave you with Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you, plans that are good and not evil, for a desired end. So you just let that seep into your spirit today. And we love you guys. Thank you for watching The Moral Compass. And we're going to see you next time.